All right, that moves us on to our first public participation. Is that where I read the proclamation
Yes.
first? I'll stand, because I think anytime you're proclamating, you need to be standing. I'm proclamating. All right. Arbor Day Proclamation. Whereas in 1872, J. Sterling Morton proposed to the Nebraska Board of Agriculture that a special day be set aside for the planting of trees. And whereas this holiday called Arbor Day was first observed with the planting of more than 1 million trees in good old Nebraska. And whereas Arbor Day is now observed throughout the nation and the world, and whereas trees can reduce the erosion of our precious topsoil by wind and water, cut heating and cooling costs, moderate the temperature, clean the air, produce life-giving oxygen, and provide habitat for wildlife. And whereas trees are a renewable resource, giving us paper, wood for our homes, fuel for our fires, and countless other wood products. And whereas trees in our city increase property values, enhance the economic vitality of the business areas, and beautify our community. And whereas trees, wherever they are planted, are a source of joy and spiritual renewal. Now, therefore, I, Mayor of the City of Cameron, Missouri, do hereby proclaim April 25th, 2025 as Arbor Day in the City of Cameron, and I urge all citizens to celebrate Arbor Day and to support efforts to protect our trees and woodlands. And further, I urge all citizens to plant trees to gladden the heart and promote the well-being of this and future generations. Dated this 21st day of April 2025. Thank you.
Yeah, that'd be appropriate.
All right. Next, we're going to go ahead and do who was the next, which is Keith Gilbert. You were on our agenda.
I have some documents for each of you.
Thank you.
I've had some help from Ms. Blaze. Thank you, ma'am. I appreciate your help. Okay, I'm here to speak about the MOU agreement that you have with the Cameron School District and their police department. When I first came to address you about this MOU, my understanding was that if you didn't agree to sign it, that the school district would have to depend on either the CPD or Clinton County to provide SROs. I was wrong. I wish we had more SROs to protect our most valuable treasures, our children. I am not trying to stop the kids from being protected. My concern was with the leadership and lack of law enforcement qualifications by the superintendent to run a police department. I am here today to share some of my deep concerns with the current MOU not being followed. I'd also ask that the city look into some of these matters. I sent, well, you have the documents there in front of you that I'm going to discuss. The first is a post from Facebook. I will not read that disturbing account aloud. That description sounds like sexual assault to me. The second is a letter sent out by the Cameron School District about that incident. They seem to confirm something serious happened at Parkview. Towards the end of the second paragraph, they say this incident was investigated for the purpose of school discipline and student safety. They said the incident was referred to the juvenile office. There is no mention of any referral for investigation by the Cameron Police Department. How was this incident referred to Juvenile Division without an initial investigation? I sent the documents in the wrong order, but the next document that I want to talk about is Missouri Statute 162.215. Item 2 requires the school and its SROs to comply with that memorandum of understanding. It also prohibits them from investigating all crimes involving sexual offense. Sexual offense remains in the jurisdiction of the Cameron Police Department. I contacted the parent today that made that Facebook post. They tell me the Cameron Police Department hasn't contacted them about that incident. Is that accurate? This parent's child was discovered 3 months into summer break while another investigation of some sort was being conducted for something similar that happened to another child from a different family. Since the school can't investigate sexual offenses, I submitted a records request to the city. That request is also in your documents with the Cameron Police Department letterhead. No records exist of any investigations by the Cameron Police Department about sexual offenses on school district property. I made a similar records request with the school. The school tells me they have no record for any investigations of any items they're prohibited from investigating, as outlined in the current MOU. You have that document as well. Who was investigating the first child to learn about the one mentioned in the Facebook post? Why was a school SRO notifying the family if they weren't doing the investigation? Wouldn't the agency doing the investigation notify the families? Are there more children we don't know about? The next document is an email about Bus 6. The second paragraph says Palmer will continue the investigation about that box cutter. How does he conduct an investigation, which he is prohibited from doing by the MOU, without a report? The next document is a series of texts that were sent by a student on that bus to their parent. Do you see anything in that text that maybe should have been investigated? That child wasn't interviewed. I ask why. On September 12th, the district notified the public of a firearm found in the CHS student's vehicle.
One minute, Heath. 1 minute.
I thought I had 5 minutes.
You do.
Goes
You've got
fast.
one, you
Okay,
got one left.
sorry. I lost my place. The MOU requires the district to have CPD handle investigation incidents involving weapons. I obtained the dispatch log from CPD for that day. The only radio traffic for that day and incident was SRO Palmer asking to run a firearm serial number. Who investigated that firearm? I'm out of time, but have additional details about boys attempting to remove a student's bra on a bus while loudly saying they wanted to see her breasts. The DeKalb County Sheriff wasn't notified by the district. Again, I ask why. I was invited to a meeting with the school's chief of police when a member of the community told him about a possible felony that happened on school property. I believe that information was ignored and the district never told the CPD. What good is the MOU if it's not being followed? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Gilbert. Then the number C, Matt is not here tonight. He decided not to come. So that opens up to anyone else that would like to address the council. You have 5 minutes, but be sure to put your address down on the notepad. Anyone else? All right. That means we'll move forward. All right, the consent agenda. Oh, Shelley.
Item A, motion to approve the minutes of the April 7th, 2025 City Hall work session. Item B, motion to approve the minutes of the April 7th, 2025 regular session. Item C, motion to approve the minutes of the April 14th, 2025 special session. Item D, motion to accept the certification of delinquent taxes as presented by the city clerk.
Now, is there a request to move any of the consent agenda items to regular agenda discussion?
Well, I'm not sure exactly how we need to do this, but I was absent for 2 of them, here for 2 of them.
You can still vote to approve them.
Okay.
But when you're voting to approve minutes, you're just voting that the minutes appear in the form that they need to execute by the mayor.
Very good.
All right, do I have a motion to, oh, never mind, we're not going to do that. I will entertain a motion to pass the consent agenda.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? It passes, 5 in favor, 0 opposed. That takes us to appointments.
We don't have any appointments, but we do have openings right now on the Code Board of Appeals and the Park Board. We did have a resignation from the Park Board. Derek Lanigan resigned from the Park Board.
I didn't know that. All right. No, let's do that.
Is the Code Board of Appeals the same as the Code of Board of Adjustments?
No, the Code Board of
It's not.
Appeals only deals with nuisance issues.
No.
and variances that did not get approved by the Board of Appeals.
Okay.
All right, that moves us on to our first reading of Bill 2025-11. Shelley?
Could we do the city manager's report first?
I missed that. I do that a lot.
No problem.
Sorry. Yes.
Thank you,
please.
Mayor. I had a couple of things. The first item was the city hall repair, but we had the meeting here and we talked about the pre-bid site review on this. And the only thing I wanted to add to that is we may have more bidders who may come in, but the bid opening now is scheduled for May 7th. But at least this was a good start for us.
Okay.
Okay, the second thing I wanted to mention was that the clock that we have outside of City Hall has not been working for 5 years. I've been trying to get that working and we can't seem to get it working. But the Rotary Club would like to consider using that and perhaps moving it and it becomes something like a Rotaract project for Earl Park. They're working on that and would like to do that, and I said I would check and see with the city council, and I think I can give them permission to take that unless someone has some objection to that.
Well, if you look at the price of those, I have one of those in my shop, and they are outrageously expensive. It is a really valuable clock. You can also replace the movement in it if the city wanted to do that. It's just an electric motor that's geared for the different hands. So everything is repairable if we wanted to repair it. Now, they're outrageously unreliable in that they don't keep good time. So it's kind of like, what's the point of having a clock if it doesn't keep good time? So I just thought I'd throw that in because
What would it
might-
cost, do you think, to fix the, I mean, do you have any idea?
Does it?
Who knows?
It's a few $1,000s.
Yeah, it was several $1,000s
Yeah.
for the replacement part.
Yeah, and a new clock like that's like 25 or something, because that's a good one. It's hardwired. It's not battery or anything. So, I mean, it's something you might want to sell unless you just want to give it away. Some horologist, that's the word for a clock collector, might want it.
Well, I think if the Rotary wants it.
To
Yeah.
move it to Earl Park, which is a city park.
So, but
It'd be taking that place of the pole that blew down right there, the light pole, at Earl Park. They would be taking that place right there. Instead of the
But
light pole, it'd be the
it
clocks.
it wouldn't work, or they're gonna fix it to work?
They're gonna fix it all on their dime. It wouldn't cost the city anything.
That's the best of both worlds.
I think
It
that's
really
what
is.
fine.
That's what?
That's the best of both worlds.
I think that's fine. I'm okay with it.
Well, what I will tell them, they did not say they made a decision on that. They were talking about it the last couple of Rotary meetings, and I will tell them that we don't have any objection to that yet, and we'll see what their plan is, then we can bring it back. So they're still talking about it, and we can bring a request back.
Yeah, I don't think we should just jump on it and do something. We do this all the freaking time. Come in, find out about something and go, okay, let's do this or not. So I agree. I think we need to sit back a little bit, think about it, find out what the public thinks. Because they may not like the idea of giving it to somebody else. I don't have a problem sending it up to Earl Park.
If they're moving it to Earl Park, which is city property, are we really giving it away?
Well, I don't
Giving it to
know.
ourselves.
I mean, it's
Yeah.
really just moving it
And getting it
at that
fixed for
point.
free.
Getting it fixed for free would be, who's to say it wouldn't stop working again?
I would even consider helping them fix it, because it's going to be in a much more prominent place in Earl Park. And they'll probably want to paint it and replace the movement. And there's electrical already there, so that's not a bad thing. They've got a base that I think they're just 4 bolts mounted to the ground. So it might be a really good thing, and if they don't have the resources to fix it, maybe we could help them a little bit, share in some of the costs, because we're just giving it back to ourselves.
Well, I will get them to talk a little more about it next week, based upon what you've said here, and get that information back to you and see what their next step is there, and then you all can consider that. Okay. Okay, the next thing is, I wanted to remind everybody that May 5th, 2 weeks from now, will be my last council meeting prior to my retirement. So if anyone has anything that you'd like me to catch up on before I give it to my replacement, please let me know. And then I also wanted to make the announcement that on May 6th, the day after that, at 5 o'clock, I've reserved McCorkle's for a party for everyone, and I'm inviting everyone within the sound of my voice to come. And food and drinks are on me, and I hope everyone would come and we can have a good time, and it'll be my last official act then. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Do you have any questions for the manager? No? All right, that moves us on to new business. Shelley, Bill 2025-11, first reading.
Bill 2025-11, an ordinance for the City of Cameron, Missouri, authorizing a change in zoning district classification for property owned by the City of Cameron, Missouri, from a CMP, Commercial Manufacturing Plan District, to a PBP, Planned Business Park District.
I will entertain a motion to pass Bill 2025-11 on first reading.
Is there any discussion?
Yeah, we're going to get that first. We're going to get there.
Yes.
Did I say pass? I said I will entertain a motion. No. Get that.
You're fine.
So we have to have a motion
Second.
before we discuss
Yes,
it?
yes.
Okay.
And then
I
after
thought
you
someone
second,
said-
I say
Yeah.
discussion.
She gave the motion, I did the second.
Sorry to leave you hanging.
I was like, what is going on? All
I
right,
was reading stuff.
discussion.
Rereading
It's
it.
like, am I in another
Okay.
world?
Tell us what that means.
Okay, I think we had a motion in a second.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is the business park, and Lance has been working on that for us. Shoot, Lance.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. The Planning and Zoning Board would like to change the Cameron Business Zoning designation from a commercial manufacturing plan district to a planned business park district. That change will represent a change in uses of Cameron Business Park to better reflect the desires of the Planning Board, Planning and Zoning Commission, as well as the neighbors of the Cameron Business Park. And let me go into that further because I know that there's going to be questions. So a few of the things that will be based on the PBP, the Planned Business Park, are office-based firms, technology and innovation companies, manufacturing and industrial businesses, retail and service businesses, creative and design studios, medical and health services, educational and training centers, financial and professional services, environmental and sustainability firms, food and beverage, logistics and warehousing, recreational fitness, construction-related businesses, just basically their offices, e-commerce and online services, and then also we threw in at the very bottom of the list the medical marijuana cultivation facilities because that was in the CMP to begin with, the medical marijuana infused products manufacturing, medical marijuana testing, and then the transportation facilities. Prohibitive uses are residential and institutional. Plus, the big reason why we did that is because the CMP allows for slaughterhouses and other assorted things that you don't want next to a hospital.
That or anybody in the neighborhood. either.
Yeah. So we're doing this to protect the actual residents out there and make it a more suitable area for economic development.
And this is the same thing you've been working on for the last year.
Yeah.
So now we're voting on it finally.
Had to go through planning and zoning, had to go through all of the definitions. We had to come up with
Okay.
the definition of PVP, the
Okay,
whole 9 yards.
I'm just making
Yeah.
sure, because yeah.
Yeah, I've been working on this for, well, since May 16th,
Hey, this is
which
one
was
of
my
those
first day.
things, one of those things that's not a surprise tonight, we have to vote on. Good job.
Exactly.
Thank you.
So what happens after this is done? After we get this designated?
Then the new designation will go on that. And so I've already got that as part, I put that as part of the advertisement for the
That's
real
what-
estate, that this is the plan, is to make it a PVP. So we don't have anybody that would like to put a meat processing plant out there, and we just nipped that one right in the bud before we ever got there, because that's use is not going to be a good use out there.
Right.
So,
I just,
Yeah.
that this was getting it ready to go out for
right.
people to look at it and get
Yeah.
on it. Okay. That's what I
Yeah,
thought.
well, that's been out since March.
I was gonna say, it's already.
Yeah, I
on the
advertised that in
market.
March.
Okay.
So
We'll get to
Lance and
that
I,
later in other meetings.
Lance and I already talked about this, that terminology with the medical marijuana, ...
Yeah.
Because now it's legal, so it doesn't allow for recreational marijuana. And you might explain what you told me at the time. We will have to go back and revisit it if we
Right.
want recreational.
So whenever they come back in for recreational, they'd have to come back in and get a variance for it.
Yeah, but it
Because-
doesn't allow for.
Because in ours,
recreational.
it's all about medical. It's nothing about recreational.
It's just reflects that period of time before it's
Gotcha.
legal.
Right. Any other questions, concerns? All right. Thank you, Lance.
Yep.
All those in favor of passing resolution, Bill 2025-11, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? 5 in favor, 0 opposed. Next, we have a first reading on Bill 2025-12.
Bill 2025-12, an ordinance for the City of Cameron, Missouri, amending Section 9-39 of Article 2 excavations of Chapter 9, streets, sidewalks, and other public property of the City of Cameron Code to instead require flowable, self-leveling material such as flowable fluid concretes or mortars to fill in street cuts.
I will entertain a motion to pass Bill 2025-12 on a first reading.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion.
Okay, I'd like to preface this a little bit with one of the discussion, one of the continuous problems that we've had in the city, and that is when we have a street cut because someone is putting a new water pipe in, or maybe the city has to go back and cut it to put a repair in. We end up putting gravel and sand in that street cut, and it sets for a long time while we let it settle, and then twice a year we would bring in mobilize a company to come in to do the asphalt. So for 6 months or sometimes longer, those streets cuts would set there and be hazardous to drivers and would be a bad way to maintain the street. So what we've done now is we have a way to repair those so they can be repaired and filled in very soon. And what will make it is a rule as part of this that has to be done probably within 7 days of the street cut, so it becomes part of the cut repair, and we would impose the same requirement on us when we cut it ourselves, so that those things get repaired right away. And I have Tad here is able to give us a further discussion of exactly how that program works. Tad?
Yeah, we currently have a $2,000 deposit street cut. Like Steve said, we're currently putting rock in it now. You know, it could be a year from now and it still could be settling. That's why the condition of our streets are, a lot of the reason is because of this. We put this flowable fill in. It's really wet sand and with some mortar in it, and it'll get down in all the voids and it doesn't settle anymore. So they could pour it, leave it out down 6 inches, and they can turn around and pour concrete on it the very next day. And then when the concrete cures, you can turn traffic on it, and you won't have to worry about it settling. So I'm wanting to raise the deposit up to $2,500. The flowable fill is $125 a yard. I just figured a 6 foot wide, 12 foot long, because one lane is always usually approximately 12 feet wide. So usually the sewer is out in the middle of the street, so that's how I come up with the 12 foot. So I just said 6 foot wide, 12 foot long, 6 feet deep. That comes up to 17 cubic yards, which is $2,125. As soon as they get the full will fill, put back in, they can come back in and we'll refund them their $2,500 deposit. And this will keep our streets a lot nicer. I hate to see them dig into a brand new street.
Oh, I know.
It happens.
Will you go back and fix some of these road cuts that are already just gravel pits? Like,
We can, yeah.
With that.
I mean, for the most part, some of these road cuts that are been here so long, they've settled, they're ready to pour back.
okay, so that'll be on the agenda this summer or something like that. Just wanted to pin you down. I think this is a really great idea. Gets it done fast.
I called some of the other cities and they've already have it in place. Kansas City, Mo, Liberty has it, so.
Yeah, super. Any other questions for Ted?
I normally bring back a resolution whenever we have changes to the comprehensive fee schedule. So when you guys pass this on second reading, are you okay with me updating it at that time if it does pass?
To 2,500.
I was wondering, you kept saying you were going to raise it, but it's not in here. So are you saying to put it in here?
Yeah, I mean, or I could have put it on the next agenda.
Because I know it's
it
probably
needs two
gonna-
readings, so I can put it on the next agenda and we can amend it then.
And it would just take one more reading.
Yeah.
Yeah, just do
One more
that.
reading to change the code and
Yeah.
then a resolution to change the comprehensive fee
Okay.
schedule.
Sounds like a plan.
Is there ever a time that $2,500 wouldn't be enough?
Absolutely.
Should we just be smart? And, I mean, it's just a deposit.
Correct.
So as long as they do their job, they're gonna get it back.
Right.
So I'm just wondering if we should look at, if 3,500 is the most we've ever done, then raise it to 3,500. If it's $5,000 is the most it's ever cost, raise it to 5. Whatever it is, I just don't want to see us going, okay, here, we're gonna make you put 2,500 down, and then it goes for $5,000 and we're out.
It'll vary every street cut, you know. The sewer could be 10 foot deep.
I'm a little worried that somebody may not have $3,500. If they have problems that's going to require a street cut, I'm a little worried that some people on fixed income might not have that.
Yeah, that's my concern too.
Yeah.
Well, so we eat the difference?
So
If they
No.
can't get, because if they don't fix it,
Technically, it wouldn't be
we
the
have to pay.
homeowner, it would be the contractor.
Contractor
That's what I was
should
going
be
to say, it's a
doing it.
contractor that does that.
Yeah.
It's for the contractor.
Of course, the contractor's gonna charge the
I see
person.
what you mean. I just
Right.
worry about the old,
But they're-
Oh, no, I'm with you 100%,
Yeah.
I get that. I'm just thinking, if we're gonna move it up,
We want to go
it's a
5,000.
deposit. Well, I don't know the 5,
3,500.
but whatever, could you kind of go back maybe and see like 90% of the time, this is what it costs? Get us the number for next time, then you can get it to Shelley to put in here.
Sure.
Does
Well,
that work for you
You don't want
guys?
to price yourself out because contractors won't work here if they know that this kind of thing's going on in here.
Right.
We really need to.
It's a deposit. If they do the right thing, they're getting the money back.
True. But still.
I'm not saying that we charge them, outright 3,500 or 4,000 or 5,000 or even 2,500. It's just a deposit.
I think the issue is.
And the
the
sooner they
majority-
get it done, the sooner they get their money back, which is gonna make them wanna get it done a little quicker. I apologize for
Oh, no,
stepping
I
on you.
walked on you. I just think the issue is, can everybody afford that? It's just a lot of money for so many people. We've got 70% of our housing is rental housing here in town, and that there's a lot of people that don't have the resources to write a check for 3,500 or 5,000 or whatever. The smaller, the better, but it is what it is.
I would also note for the council that the Missouri legislature has significantly limited the city's ability to impose fees for management of the right-of-way. There are certain things that we can and cannot charge for, and it's always best to, like you suggested, Councilmember Fragert, to come back with a study to kind of see, because the right-of-way management fees have to be based on things like actual costs, and we can't deviate in between different types of users on a competitive basis. And just for your reference, it's 671840 is the statute that specifically limits the city's authority in regards to management, right-of-way management fees and for excavations.
We can always adjust it in the future too, if this didn't work out.
Okay.
So we didn't make a
didn't really
decision
address
to,
that.
I'd still like to see the report, but if no one's gonna go in that road, then I don't
John,
wanna
we
waste
could
his
do that.
time.
We could pass it this time, and next time, when we're discussing the fee, we could see a report.
Yeah, have
Yeah.
some stuff ready.
Yeah. Have best of both worlds.
Yep.
And this is just a first reading, so it won't
Yeah.
pass tonight.
All right. Thank you, Tom.
And then we'll also, I understand Shelley would come up with a resolution for the increase with the deposit along with our comprehensive
Yes.
fees. Okay.
Right. All right, all those in favor of passing Bill 2025-12, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Bill passes. 5 in favor, 0 opposed. Next, we go to the first reading of Bill 2025-13. Shelley.
Bill 2025-13, an ordinance of the City of Cameron, Missouri, vacating the alley running north and south located between Grote Street and Hunt Street in Fairview Addition and bordered by parcels in Godfrey Addition to the north and an east-west alley to the south, all in the City of Cameron, Clinton County, Missouri.
I will entertain a motion to pass Bill 2025-13 on the first reading.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion.
Okay, this one is pretty straightforward, and I think it went to planning and zoning, and Lance can report on that.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Once again, this is one that's been on the desk of the last 3 people in my position. So we're getting this done. And so this is going to affect, there's not an alley there. It's all just grass.
I didn't think there was.
Yes, there's not, but it's never been turned back over to the citizens. So you're looking at 7.5 feet from center line to the people on the east and the west, which will affect 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and lot 18. And then we'll get that back. And so this is just, once again, doing our due diligence, trying to get some
But
things.
haven't they already been using it like it was theirs?
Yeah,
That's what I thought.
yeah.
So
This is housekeeping again.
right, so but it will go on to their property,
The description.
the description.
It'll actually show that the alley has been vacated. That's not in the books at the county.
Right.
So what we're doing is saying, we're gonna put it in the books
Books,
now, we're gonna
yeah.
make it official.
Right.
And
So
get
when they-
things done.
Yeah.
And
okay.
you've asked all the property owners that have joined that, and they are agreeable to
Yeah.
losing that alley.
Certified letters all
Good.
sent out.
I'm good with that.
They
Other
don't
than I
ever
got
use it.
some
There's
back.
Really not an alley there.
Yeah,
It's not-
exactly.
It's just all grass, not an alley.
I know, but some people like the idea that they could access their property from the backside, even if it's not an
Yeah,
alley.
one of the
they
guys
could
did.
do it.
I know
Well,
he does.
Paul Beckwith has the one at the north end, and they're not coming through him dead center, I'm pretty
No.
sure. And so, and the south end,
Yeah,
it's just another alley that goes east and west.
sounds good.
So, any other questions?
All right. Thank you, Lance. All those in favor of passing Bill 2025-13, say aye.
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 All opposed? It passes, 5 in favor, 0 opposed. That takes us to our first resolution, Resolution 2025-19, Shelley.
Resolution 2025-19, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Cameron, Missouri, adopting the Blue Shield program and committing to enhancing law enforcement and community safety through policy implementation, funding, and partnerships in compliance with the guidelines established by the Governor of Missouri.
I will entertain a motion to pass Resolution 2025-19.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion.
Okay, the chief of police is ready to go on that.
Mayor, Council, thank you. January 13th of this year, the Governor of Missouri signed an executive order to establish the Missouri Blue Shield program. What that is it's to acknowledge communities that are committed to strengthening public safety, community policing, and focus on mental health and wellness of law enforcement officers. He's working with the General Assembly right now to set aside $10 million for the state of Missouri for law enforcement agencies. That will be for training and equipment. And what they're asking for is the city has to support the effectiveness of local law enforcement through our investments of officer recruitment and retention. Again, mental health resources, crime prevention programs, and community-oriented policing. It also asks that, with this resolution, we have some other steps that we have to take. One being the passage, we have to have a resolution passed first before we can sign up for it. The next thing is investments in public safety funding, which we get every year. We do have a community policing initiative. We do have a recruitment and retention program. We have the $3,000 sign-on bonus. We'll pay for the law enforcement academy if a subject comes in to test with us and they're not post-certified. The effectiveness in reducing crime. We participate in any regional anti-crime task force, which we are part of the cyber crimes task force that Buchanan County is heading up. And then compliance with the Missouri crime reporting traffic stop data. We do that every year. Every January or February, we submit our traffic stop data to the Attorney General's office.
So it sounds like we're set up to do this.
We are.
When I saw that back in January, I was hoping we would get on board, so that's good news. Any questions for Chief? All right, thank you.
Thanks.
All right. All those in favor of passing resolution 2025-19, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? 5 in favor, 0 opposed. That takes us to resolution 2025-20. Shelley.
Resolution 2025-20, a resolution for the City of Cameron, Missouri to enter into an agreement with Interim Solutions, LLC to provide staffing for an interim city manager position during the city manager recruitment process.
I will entertain a motion to pass resolution 2025-20.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion.
Okay, thank you very much, Mayor. As everyone is aware, we're recruiting for a new city manager now, but that process is being done by SGR and may take several more months to do. The council has discussed the option of having an interim city manager to cover that period until such a time as a permanent city manager can be hired. The firm of Interim Solution provides such interims, and Jeff Hancock, the president of Interim Solutions, who is here tonight, has offered his services and provided the attached agreement. He also has a available suitable candidate for immediate interview based on the council's acceptance of this agreement. And again, this agreement would just be for a short period of time. I believe it's for 4 months that can be renewed by 2-month increments. Jeff is here. Jeff, if you could stand up, please. And do you have any more comments on the agreement that you would like to make?
Not really. It's good to see you again. We did a goal setting. It's good to see some familiar faces. I've been doing this since 2010, and I just did 2 interim positions, one in St. James personally in Monette. I'm done. I'm trying to find other people to do it because it can be quite a challenge. But I think we've got a good candidate for you. You'll get to meet him later on, and if you don't like him, we'll find somebody else. But he's a good candidate. Unless you have questions of me. Thank you.
I would like to make a note that the cost that we would be paying Jeff's company on a monthly basis, plus what we'd be paying for the interim, is less than you're currently paying. So it's at no additional cost to you to have an interim during that period of time.
That's good to know.
Is that including the mileage, the 2,400?
Yes.
Miles?
And the mileage is really a not to exceed. It'll only be claimed as it's used. Because what you have as the interim is not required to move and live here.
Well, sure.
So may have some driving to do.
Any other questions?
The issue, this is a perfect example of what's going on up here. We have no alternative plan. The city manager brought us one plan that we have to vote on. We're in the process of hiring a city manager. And the person that's most qualified for the city manager spot is sitting right in front of us. He doesn't want it, which is fine. But there's other alternatives. But we don't look at other alternatives because we have a little good old boy tit for tat deal going on here. And I'm a no on this. We've got an individual who works Tuesday and Thursday. He's part-time. He knows the staff, but he's not so far in the forest that he can't see the trees. He's not completely in the bureaucracy. He was a CFO, Chief Financial Officer for a construction company. He's part-time. He would take a look at the interim position if the other staff would go along with him. But we're not going to look at it because the wrong people, the right people have to make a little money on this thing. So I'm a no on this. I'm a hard no.
Who are you talking about?
Jim Shrimpton.
Oh, okay, I was like,
Well, my understanding is we're hiring an interim for 4 months with options on 2-month increments. We're paying less than we're paying our current city manager. In the meantime, we still have all of our staff that is here in position to help and to facilitate that temporary position. And during that 4-month period of time, that's when we interview and we select a new city manager. And that could be anybody. It could be Jim Shrimpton, or it could be
No,
somebody.
we've got he would do the interim city manager. He's already in place.
have you asked him?
I've talked to him on the phone, and he said he would do it
Oh, I-
contingent on the other staff members going along with him. But he's not going to get a chance because that's the way we do things up here.
But this is just temporary.
Yeah, it's a temporary.
I was never communicated.
I know it. Nobody is. You've got to actually go out and think outside the box up here. I've done a lousy job up here. Over the weekend, I finally got off my lazy butt, talked to some staff members, made a couple of phone calls, and came up with some ideas.
Yeah, I got a couple too that I did some call arounds
Yeah.
with. I didn't know this was coming.
No, I didn't want to tell anybody because it's not going to get passed, so we're just going to roll over it. So it's just business as usual up here.
But we're gonna need a city manager in place.
I know that the city manager is a different deal.
Well, an acting city manager.
Yeah,
or a
well, the
interim
acting city, yeah, I know. We have one choice.
Yeah,
One choice.
Right.
So what do you suggest?
I'm saying we've got 2 choices maybe.
We've got more choices than that.
Yeah.
How long does it take to advertise another meeting? Because I'm not opposed to coming in every day if we need to.
You have to have 24 hours notice to.
So that, John, you could do that. We could advertise another meeting and we could work on other options.
If you want to.
I'm good
fine.
with it.
But there's other options out here.
If John and John are interested in doing that.
I'm fine, as long as we can set up a Zoom or do it at 6 o'clock, I'm good either.
Well,
With
we
any
do
of
have
them.
a candidate here that came here. We
Well,
should post it.
yeah, we need to. Yeah, I didn't know the candidate was coming,
I didn't either.
but nobody else knows there's other candidates out there either, you know, so it's tit for tat.
How many candidates do you have? This isn't anything against,
No, I'm not talking
Sure.
against you, it's just the way we do things up here.
Sure.
Keep it local.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
Mhm.
exactly. Yeah, already in there. That's the interim.
Well, I had two. I know a lot of people. I've just been around them a long time. So what we try to do is bring a professional in here to keep you out of trouble and all of that. And I know Jim. I mean, Jim's a good person. And I would. It's up to you. Obviously, you're the council, but there's more in that contract from a standpoint of protection of that individual and noting that that person is the city manager, because you are a city manager form of government. But there are other, generally speaking, they're retired people. And hopefully that answered your question.
yeah, okay. Thank you. I just happened to see one of our previous interim city managers in here. So I know it can be done with city staff, and they did a great job. So, anyway.
If I might say something, I'm not, you all do. And I've been doing this since 2010. I set it up, I was city manager of Warrensburg. And what happens, the negatives of using someone from staff is that they not only have to do their job, but another job as well. And what I've seen in other communities is you continually do that sort of thing, and then you run into a situation of well, why don't I get the job standpoint. And so I copied this. Texas does it all the time, and they bring in a professional. But there are negatives. I'm not being critical of somebody else, but there are negatives. But the contract speaks for itself.
Yeah.
Or they might say, why do I have to get the job? Right?
Right. I have been concerned about putting too much work on the staff that we have. We've been having them all do 2 jobs for the last 2 years. So I'm afraid we're gonna have burnout and,
I think we're kind of overdue.
yeah, angry feelings and tiredness and willingness to go into other lines of work.
Shelley,
Okay.
you want to?
Council. All right, what's going on here? What are we doing? What do you want to do? Well, I guess we have to vote on this.
I say we vote on the motion.
Well, let me add one other thing to this, and that is a question of timing here. And that is, what we would have with an interim is that interim would begin next Monday and would be here then to overlap with me for a week. And then on the following Monday, when I would leave, that person would be here and be available. One of the things is there is some urgency on this because there's not much time left in which to do it. And that's why we've been talking about this for a couple of weeks, and I sent a copy of the proposed contract out to everyone 2 weeks ago to look at, and have talked to everyone about this. If I was not clear enough about it, then I apologize for that. But the reason that we have some urgency is because the time is drawing short, and we have to, and the 5th would be the day that we would turn this over. Now, we could get somebody else in here, but right now we have this one which is about ready to go, and that's why there is some urgency on it.
Steve, you don't have to apologize. You were clear. You were crystal clear.
Okay, thank you.
32-hour work week. So gonna be out of here on Friday. What was the?
No, I said,
Yeah.
show up at 12 o'clock
Yeah,
on
yeah, you said,
Monday,
yeah.
leave at 12
Yeah,
o'clock
I-
on Friday.
yeah. No, you were crystal clear.
Okay, thank you.
Well, and I feel like this creates an orderly transition, whereas opposed to we suddenly jump into some other idea.
To me, this is jumping in as well.
Suddenly jump into some other idea. The guy's been a part-time on the staff for how many years? He's in the finance part of the city. He knows the finances. He knows the numbers. But he's not so ingrained with the bureaucracy. He's only working 2 days a week. And the thing I like about him, he doesn't need the job.
Does he want to do this?
He said he would
That's what
take
I
it when I talked to him if the other staff supported him.
Well, we don't know that answer right now.
Yes, we don't know that answer.
I
Well,
agree with
I
Mr.
would-
Hancock.
All right.
I think this other way of doing this is much better than pushing something off onto a staff that may or may not have personal relationship issues tied to it.
The first year I was on council when that happened, and good old Zach took up the helm, and we also had a drought that year, so his poor little head was spinning unreal.
Well, to talk a little bit personnel here, and I'm sorry to do that, but when you said there was another person, I thought that we were talking about Mr. Raines, who we've talked about. and
You
Mr.
made that
Raines
clear
is
all along.
Fully
Thank you, but
engaged.
no.
And we
I-
understand.
I had never heard the name of Jim Shrimpton as a possibility until tonight.
As an interim.
I hadn't either.
I hadn't either. I started asking a few questions of other staff members, of people that are retired, this one, and then I brought up his name to other staff members, said, yeah, he'd be good. He's just part-time, he's not so embedded in the bureaucracy up there. He's still got a little bit of independence with him. I think he'd be an excellent candidate. He used to, and we're going into construction, he used to be the CFO, Chief Financial Officer of a construction company in the private sector. So I guess he's unqualified.
Well, I'm thinking that he's gonna wind up having more work put on him anyway. So why should we put the entire city on him when he's gonna be having to do more with the city hall?
Well, as of right now, we wouldn't have to do.
Yeah.
And I'm not even just using him as the only name. There's been other people that I've talked to
We
outside
should
as
have
well.
had this conversation.
Well,
Yeah, I was gonna
Right,
say,
but
that's
you know
another
what?
thing of what we do,
This
is
came,
that we
I
just
told
suddenly
you
decide
Thursday,
to.
first time I'd heard about
We
it.
can't ever have a conversation unless we have a motion and a second in discussion. Can't.
That's part of the rules.
Yeah, I know, that's part of the rules. I'm having the
It's
discussion.
a little bit restrictive.
I know, it
but-
is.
And we can't even make
I mean,
complaint
the
texts
guy,
without getting in trouble.
the guy
Okay,
knows the numbers. He's here.
that's,
Okay,
That's-
okay, you can do what you want.
we've got this in front of us.
Yep, okay.
We should have explored that before.
I don't know that we're supposed to go out individually and do personnel recruitment.
Yeah, we're just supposed to let the city manager lead us down the Primrose path.
Well, that's what the city manager
Yeah, he
does.
does.
He manages.
Mm-hmm.
That's why we are on the city council, we are
Yes,
not managers.
you're right.
All right, let's move on. All those in favor of passing resolution 2025-20, say aye.
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 Aye. All those opposed?
No,
No,
3 in favor, 2 opposed. It passes.
Let's hope he doesn't run screaming
I
from
like
this
Jim
building.
Shrimpton.
well, why didn't you vote against the resolution to
Because
talk to him?
There's no plan.
let's go
not
forward.
approved.
Hey,
All right,
please.
you're right, thank you.
Okay,
please.
All right, next, resolution 2025-21. Shelley.
Resolution 2025-21, a resolution authorizing the City Council of the City of Cameron, Missouri to accept a utility easement from Moda Group LLC for sewer and/or water utility construction and maintenance as may be required,
I will entertain a motion to pass Resolution 2025-21.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, thank you very much, Mayor. This is more discussion of a Highway BB at the I-35 intersection, and I believe that, Mark, you're able to talk about that.
Evening, Mayor and Council. This is to accept a utility easement so that property can be developed out there. It's allowing us to get a sewer line under the highway and on down to connect into our existing sewers. It's really no cost to the city, $1 for the easement itself.
You said there's no financial impact, so that's the dollar.
$1.
And then I thought I saw somewhere, excuse me, I didn't read it all the way through. There is no financial impact to the city at this time. So
Yes,
are
so
we saying?
there will be, we are building that sewer out to them. So it is not, there will be financial impact as far as the building goes, but the easement, there's no.
And they'll be
financial
paying
impact.
us back for a portion of that?
No, that is part of.
That's
our-
part of the
our
agreement?
savings agreement.
Okay. Well, what's that cost?
Probably not.
Do you have any money?
This is the new truck stop.
Oh, okay, my bad.
It's already in the budget, right?
It will be.
The engineering is.
Yeah.
Got a question?
Thank you.
We knew this was coming, this is no surprise. All right, all those in favor of passing Resolution 2025-21, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? 5 in favor, 0 opposed. All right, that takes us to our second public participation. Please come forward, please write your name on the tablet, you have 5 minutes.
We have a
I
discussion
think.
item.
Oh, I'm
Yeah, one
so
more item.
sorry, why am I doing that? Oh, memorandum, okay, gotcha. Yeah, sorry, Chief. My other.
We have the MOU on the agenda for the next meeting, but before we did that, we wanted to take a moment to discuss it so the chief could explain that to you in some detail.
Okay. The current MOU that's in place was signed, is either in August of 22 or August of 23. That was between the Cameron Police Department and the Cameron School District. In law enforcement MOUs, it's a formal non-binding agreement between 2 or more parties outlining their intentions, roles, and objectives. This is, in law enforcement, it is basic housekeeping. I had tasked my staff with recreating and updating the current MOU. I believe it's 4 or 5 pages long now. And that's between all law enforcement agencies, the 4 county sheriffs, and the City of Cameron Police Department. The MOU has a lot more verbiage in it and a lot more roles, responsibilities, and definitions in it. I've also implemented changes on our end to capture any contact between the school police department and our police department. So there's more transparency there. So the MOUs are used in various law enforcement contexts. It's used for interagency cooperation, the school resource officer program, cooperation with other agencies. As you know here, I think it was last year, we had to sign MOUs with the 4 sheriff's departments. That's for working relationship cooperation. We have always worked well with the school district here in Cameron. We've held trainings from simple fire drills to the most horrific tragedies that we've seen across our nation in the past. We currently, the City of Cameron currently has MOUs in place with the Missouri State Highway Patrol, the U.S. Veterans Administration, the U.S. Veterans Police Department, for the doctor's office up on the north side of town. Again, the 4 county sheriffs we have MOUs with, the ACCD 911 district we have an MOU. We have an MOU with the Cyber Crimes Task Force, the Northwest Missouri Drug Strike Force, and the Cameron Ambulance District. I heard Mr. Gilbert's concerns, and that's why I want to let you know that I've implemented changes on our end to capture other things. And 2 or 3 weeks ago, I had a meeting here in this room with the 4 sheriffs that our school district transports students to, along with the school administration and the school police department. And the Cameron Police Department and the 4 county sheriffs are all in support of the new MOU. You guys will see that in your packets next time on the 5th of May. And
So can I ask a question? So I know that one of the things that Heath brought up was just communication, it sounds like to me. It sounds like it's more the school not communicating to you guys to let you know. Is that in?
That's where we've implemented these changes.
Okay.
Okay. I do know that Mr. Gilbert was speaking about some different cases that possibly may not have been reported or something like that.
Yeah.
So another change that I implemented, so when we go out and assist other law enforcement agencies, we write up our cases as an assist outside agency. So the Cameron School Police Department is their own agency. The Cameron Police Department, we're our own agency.
Okay.
They won't tell us what to do. We won't tell them what to do. That's kind of like the sheriff's departments. They're their own agency. We're our own agency. So when we go assist, we write these reports as assist outside agency. So on the letter from his records request that Tina had sent back, he had requested any felonies or sexual offense cases. Well, that's why I implemented these changes, because if we're writing them as assist outside agency, it's not capturing what they're asking for. So that's why we want the transparency on what's going on. So.
Okay, so we're fixing it.
Yeah.
Cool. Love to hear it. Thank you.
Any questions?
Sorry, I already did it.
Any other questions? Thank you.
Thanks.
Any other comments or discussion by the council? Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
I know he's been working really hard on it because I've been talking to him about it quite a bit. Okay, now, I can't believe I missed the last. All right, now we're ready for our second public participation. Come on up, Shannon.
Shannon Christensen, 856, 85, what is my address? Crouch Road, you know my address. 8567. Hi.
You again.
Thank you.
I want to apologize, I forgot that Shannon had asked to be put on the agenda, and I did not get it on my list, so.
No need to apologize. You guys have your hands full. I just want to say I appreciate what the city council does. Steve Rasmussen, congratulations on retirement. That is a fun season.
Thank you.
And for that reason, that you do have a full plate, that's why I have brought forth the rebranding and have kind of just taken it on as a private citizen, because you have a lot going on your plate. The only thing I've asked for from the city council is to adopt a vision of Cameron, to update the Cameron's tagline, which you did as a resolution, that actually doesn't cost any money and is not a law or ordinance, so that if it doesn't have work, it goes away, basically. Establish a creative district, which that's something I can also do, which I also went to a St. Louis, Missouri Arts Council conference for creative districts emerging and established, and got a lot of information and understanding with that, which was, again, not paid by the council. And to commit to host an annual city social, which we have never talked about, but those are the 4 things that I asked from the city. Now, there's a lot of talk that's going on about how much money will be spent in the rebranding effort. I have said, I think every single time that I've come, that I do not want or ask for any money. So Mayor, I just wanted to ask you a couple of questions. Have I asked for any money from the city?
No.
Has the city slated any money for rebranding?
No.
Has the city council, have I asked the city council to lead in the rebranding effort?
No.
Am I able to write checks for the city council? No. Have I asked you to pay for any logo design I've done, which amounts to about $5,000? Have I asked anybody in the city for that?
No.
Have I asked for any money for the plan for the city council for the rebranding of the town, which starts at $10,000? Have I asked for any money for that? Okay, there is a lot that can go on, and yes, you can spend money. Absolutely, I've said that numerous times. You can spend money, that we don't have money to spend money. So we can't put that cost out there. Now, if in 3 years there's a proof of concept that the rebranding of the Creative Crossroads works, then the city can decide if they want to do something. Letterhead, business cards can all be printed on demand. They don't have to be that, bought in bulk and that sort of thing. There are ways to do things. There's usually more than one way. Just like John pointed out, there's one way to get a city manager interim. So there's lots of ways to do things. This is the way I've chosen to do it because that's just my skill set. Other people can bring ideas forward. I have no problem with that. It doesn't even take away from the transportation or manufacturing. Things can happen in tandem. There's all kinds of things that Lance is doing. It doesn't take it away. I've talked about why I chose creativity, and I can continue to do that, and I will. And the city's been very good to help, give me information and help me with this process. I do want to say that I've given you this I've started a Facebook page so that people can ask me directly. I don't think I've spoken to anybody on the city council personally except for Ms. Reed. And so this way people can ask me directly questions instead of getting it secondhand. I'm going to post how these things work. There's one more thing that I wanted to leave with is that we do have means to bring stuff into Cameron. So for instance, there was a creative retreat, a local thing that brought in 10 people from out of town and 4 here. There's a monthly rental of the studio for that artist. There's 12 attendees who went to dinner for Robbins, 12 that went to dinner at McCorkle's. They stayed in local hotels. They visited and purchased from antique stores, gas stations, and Kingdom Coffee and scooters. And it was also a fundraiser for the old school. So there is a road to be able to make money for Cameron with creativity and 30 seconds. So, and people are doing things on their own. Sue's doing the hot air affair, and that, no doubt, is boatloads of time and energy to do that. So if we can just wrap people around the same idea, the same vision, then we're making momentum with our efforts, and we're having this energy that can be had from that. So thanks, City Council.
Thank you for keeping at it, Shannon.
Yeah, really. Good. Anyone else would like to talk to the council?
Oh, Cameron Creative District.
All right, that moves us on to comments from the staff. Steve?
I do not have anything further, Mayor, thank you.
Nothing.
Enjoyed the rain yesterday, enjoyed the sunshine today. So we will progress and get through all of this. And have a nice evening, thank you.
Ira?
I've been working on pool stuff like normal since the first of the year. Got roughly 40 applications so far that have signed up for certification dates. Around half of them will be going between this weekend and then the last certification date is May 9th through the 11th. And we have officially hired 2 managers, so they are on board. Meeting with Chemical Guy tomorrow, matter of fact, and we're going to get that on pricing and get some of that scheduled as well. So trying to finish up. We did get the piece of playground equipment installed in Rec Park. Got with Gary Mannion, and he is going to probably pour the curb that will go around the border of it. And then once that is completed, then that rubber pour in place will happen next. So I'm hoping, depending on the weather, you know how that goes, but hopefully within the next month we'll be able to get that opened up and going, so.
So kids will be happy about that.
Yep. And then we got a park board meeting this Thursday this week, and then, like Madam Mayor said, we have Arbor Day. We're gonna be planting a tree with the kindergarten class on Friday out to Rec Park and Kelsey Park, so. That's all I got.
If I remember correctly, yes, the kindergarten does that, and then usually when the graduating classes, they go to your tree that they.
That's kind of what I was told. Friday we got, I don't have it in my notes. I think it's kindergarten, first, second, and third will come out and look at their tree in the morning. And then like fourth, fifth, and sixth or something like that comes in the afternoon, and they look at their tree and progress, so.
And I think what she's saying is, then they come out as seniors.
As seniors and look at
and
their
get
tree
the-
again.
Well, they
Right.
get pictures
Yeah,
of them doing that.
yeah. I should have brought I had a map there of all the trees from K through 12, but it's starting to fill up in between the two parks. So, that's all I got.
All right, Chief.
You all know about DJ Daniel. He's the 13-year-old battling cancer. They made him an honorary Secret Service agent at the White House.
Yep.
We were contacted, and on April 15th, over 200 law enforcement agencies, including the Cameron Police Department between Missouri and Illinois, made him an honorary police officer. He's been battling brain cancer since, I believe, age 6, and they give him 5 months to live. He's now 13 years old, still battling the cancer, but yeah, they said this was the biggest turnout at one time, so they read all agencies at once when they made him honorary police officer. So that happened just a few days ago.
That's cool.
That's awesome.
Chad.
Street crews, they are continuing to run the patcher, and they have all the runway torn out at the airport. And I scheduled a large trash drop-off for May 17th across the road here from 8 to noon.
Yay, let's make sure we get that publicized so people bring their stuff. And we also need to like we do in the past, the city electric bill, correct? So that you know that they're inside city limits. No
Until-
construction people with their construction.
Try to get out to the scrappers, because they can pick up things and actually it saves them.
We normally,
Yeah.
this is my pet project.
That's, yeah.
I love getting rid of trash. We normally take all the washing machines and all that jazz, and the scrappers will come and pick those up, usually.
That's all I have.
Well, good, I was wondering if we were gonna have one.
I tried to get it as close to the citywide garage sale as I can, and it's May 3rd, so.
Yeah. Good, fantastic. Chris?
Working on the IT master plan, trying to make sure I'm staying ahead of the city hall construction, that doesn't disrupt any IT services.
Well, that's why we're glad you're there.
That's all I have.
Mr. Lance?
Well, as you can tell by the last 3 meetings, we've been doing lots of planning and zoning. I also would like to thank Patrick, Mike O'Donnell, Ted, and Mark for helping me with the business development items. We're working on multiple CIDs, we're working on at least one TIF. We've got a couple of different businesses that we're working with on that kind of stuff to entice them into coming into Cameron. So those are items that were in the works, in the cooker, and yeah, I'm learning a lot about TIFs and CIDs right now.
Well, we've got a couple.
So, oh, and then 112 East 3rd, the Terracon is writing the plans and specs for the demolition on that as we speak. They told me last week that they're hoping to be done within a week and a half. I hope they are.
Have you had any contact with the adjacent owners?
Not yet. Not until I see the plans.
He was in my office today, and
Oh,
he didn't
boy.
get to talk to me, so I'm like, I bet that's what they're in there for.
So the idea is once I get the plans and specs, because we know the EPA is going to be involved, and we know that DNR is going to be involved, because brownfield money is involved.
Of course.
So if I wrote it, I was afraid that I would miss something on the federal requirements, and so Terracon's doing it, MoCan's paying for it, so we're not out any money. It's going through their brownfield program, so then we can knock that bad boy down and get it out of here.
looking at probably running it 2 weeks, which is our policy for bidding it out and then waiting for the demo contractor to come in and do the dastardly deed. So that's what I'm doing.
All right. Chief. Shelley.
I will be out on vacation starting Wednesday. I'll be out Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday.
Okay. Councilman Carr.
I'll be out Friday for 8 days on a trip, so I'll miss a meeting in there. Nothing else.
You'll be missing Steve's last meeting, is that right? Oh.
I'll miss.
What days will you be out from, Dr. Carr?
I should have my wife here to tell you.
I know that.
Because that's the way that goes. I'll be out the 26th to the,
Can you handle
I
that
think
kind
I
of
come
decision?
back on the 4th.
Can you handle that kind of decision?
No,
No.
it's pretty tough. I really don't handle it. She just tells me.
That's an easy way to do it.
She said, let's sync our phones. I say,
Okay, so we
So you
think
might be on-
26 April.
I think I'll be here on the 5th. I think that's the way it works. It's a bank trip. That's all the old people. Now that I are one.
All right. Councilman Breckenridge? Councilwoman?
I really don't have anything else.
I just have a couple real quick. A few weeks back, and I don't remember who it was that brought this in.
Yeah, I remember that.
The 1109 West Prospect. Did we get that cleaned up?
I think I went by it yesterday. I think they have it in a, no, it's still
Tad
there.
has got that.
I didn't bring that with me, but it has went to court and he has, I think, until May, I want to say 16th or something like that to get it
Okay.
cleaned up, so.
Okay. So we're in the process
Yes.
of getting her taken care
Yes.
of. Okay. Just wanted to make sure on that. And then also, I'm not sure if everybody's seen this, but not necessarily council business, but Spire's asking for a increase in their charges. And the reason why I bring that up, it's a pretty substantial increase. I'm thinking, we don't have the water here yet. I'm wondering, should we relook at what we're charging people, even if it's a $5 or $10 discount, until we actually get water here? Because, Dr. Carp, going back to what you said with the folks that are on
Fixed income.
the fixed income, you know, I mean, they're not getting anything out of it right now. None of us are. It's sitting there. And whether it be 3 months, 6 months, but at least we give some reprieve to people and they see that we're actually listening and trying to help them. So it's something that I would like to consider for the next meeting.
Helping them exactly with, exactly, you kind of.
Yeah, I'm saying like take it, just drop the bill $5 to $10, whatever, have a $5 or $10 discount until we get to the point that they're getting water out of there. Because these pipelines, we're still not getting water.
Just an update on that connection's supposed to be made and water's supposed to be flowing.
May 2nd's the hard date.
By the beginning of May, so.
That went out today.
Not that I don't believe either of you two, but the problem is, I've been told that since I was on last time,
All the
that there's
easements
gonna be,
are procured now and the pipes in the ground, so about they're pretty well down to just making the last 100 feet of our connection here in town and setting the vault.
Yep.
And didn't we?
We're gonna do a substantial construction evaluation on the 24th as well, so this coming week, Thursday.
And didn't we have a large increase in chemicals and labor and everything else, which is the reason why we were raising rates in the beginning?
Part of the reason.
Yeah.
but we're not using those. That was my point. And
We've been using the raised water chemical rates for a year already. Yeah, chemical costs went up
We're
2
paying for
years ago?
two different
Yeah, I
water
mean,
sources
the
right
pool-
now.
The pool's
got
another
both on-
example of that
both of them.
because
Yeah.
that all went up basically
Well-
during the Ukraine war.
Well, the water treatment plant and everything, yeah. Yeah, we've
So
been,
there's a lot that came from there.
Wasn't part of the reason we raised the rates was because we hadn't raised them in a long, long time?
No, they've been raised
No.
The water,
constantly.
or was that
No,
electric?
it was trying to get enough money so that we could make the payment to Great Northwest, is what it is.
Even with the rate increase that we did, we still don't have enough revenue to make that payment, so
So that was the point.
it's building our reserve. a
Right, the
little
Great
bit to
Northwest
cover
is in
that.
charge of the pipeline, and Cameron is a customer.
Yeah.
So Cameron is preparing itself to be able to give their payment to the Great Northwest, so the Great Northwest can reimburse DNR, which is what paid for the pipeline.
So keeping the rate fixed is helping the reserve on the farm.
Anyway, that's something I'd like to see,
I understand that.
so. That's it for me.
I didn't know what you council people think about, but it's worked really well to have the advisory board for the city hall. Thank God for their brains and their skill set.
yes.
I am just overwhelmed, pleased, and I'm very grateful for Sue. And I've also wondered if there's a few city, a small council, a small advisory group to just kind of stand beside us as we pick a new city manager. What do you guys think about that?
An advisory group that has
Just-
experience with that.
With hiring, yeah.
I'm good with that.
I don't know what it looks like. Maybe we can talk about it at the next city council meeting, what that would look like. Talk among yourselves, talk with the staff. But I think that's, might be a good idea. It doesn't need to be a big one, but just a few.
Getting advice is always a good idea.
Yeah. So anyway, was my throw out. Thank you for those who came and spoke tonight. And with that, I will entertain a motion to exit, I never say this right, exit to adjourn
Executive session for attorney-client communications, personnel, and negotiated
and
contracts.
to go into executive session. Roll call.
I need a motion in a second first.
Oh, second.
Who did the motion?
So moved.
Yeah, I will entertain a
John and
motion
John.
to adjourn into executive. All right.
Gina Reed Hitler.
Yes.
John Breckenridge.
Yes.
John Feiger.
Yes.
Dr. Mark Carr.
Yes.
Becky Curtis.
Yes. Thank you, guys.